Hello, hello. Oh, I like to start this thing off. So anyway, I can't start a show without saying hello to everyone. But welcome to this month's edition of the Baldman HQ, where, as you can see, we have the Baldman himself on this time, who also sits very low in his camera frame, just like Troy. So he's kind of hiding behind his name tag.
We will adjust, I guess.
There we
Which is
go.
weird because I'm actually very tall, so I'm not sure why I'm very low.
I'm sitting on my feet, so but got a little bit to talk about this month. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. Hello, Paige and Ben. Thanks for joining. So for the December show, this was of course our second virtual weekend, and we grew a good bit from the first time. We ran our first special event this time, the Moon ES1 special, and continue to grow on that in the future, running more special events, running some epics, maybe including one that someone I know wrote. Oh no, I wrote it. Yeah, that's right. And my
Just trying to.
dear friend Connor. I'm above you. Yeah. So we had almost 100 brand new players from last time, and just like before, our players were reporting back very high scores for satisfaction, and they all love that they know where to go now to find all the new games each month. They don't have to worry about, did I miss that small con that was premiering the thing, because even if they miss the premiere, they're gonna find it Baldman Games Virtual Weekend. So, a little recap for anyone who isn't familiar on the virtual weekends. Huge celebrations that we have, hanging out with everybody. We're going to be repeating these every month into 2021 and beyond. You'll find the newest content, epic special events, community content, dungeon craft from the D&D Adventures League, and we're also kind of expanding on that with some non-AL content. I know Robert Aducci's been running some Dark Sun. As we kind of ramp up and expand, we'll see more stuff like that. And you can do it all right from your house in your pajamas or whatever it is that you want to wear and be comfortable gaming. So as far as cost, $15 for a standard 4-hour adventure, $8 for a 2-hour adventure, and if you're brand new to this and just want to learn how to play, you can pick up a learn to play session for just $4. Sometimes we're gonna have those special events and maybe package deals that cost a little bit more, or no pants. That's true, or no pants.
Please stay seated in that case.
Yeah, as long as there's no camera incident, fine too. And you can sign up for these as always over on the Yawning Portal and find more information at Baldman Games. So without further ado, I'm gonna turn it over to the Bald Man.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, Thanks for those that are joining us live tonight. Appreciate those that are watching this later. Right, we're just going to kind of go over some stuff that we have, coming down the pike, some things that we're working on. There's a lot of exciting things that we wish we could share with everybody that we have planned for 2021. Of course, NDAs and such things as that doesn't allow me to share everything yet, but we are working on a lot of cool stuff. It's kind of our way of saying, screw you, COVID. We're all going to still game and have fun with our friends. So first, right off the top, right in January, we have our next virtual D&D weekend, which will be the weekend of January 15th to the 17th. Each time we've been expanding a little bit. So in January, we're going to expand a bit again. We're going to be premiering the first Tier 2 Season 10 adventure, right, for the Rime of the Frost Maiden season, which is exciting. We're also going to be running a certain person, right, that I know is above me, right, the first Tier 1 epic. So we'll schedule that, right, so the players that have played, season 10, 1 through 4, they can get that epic in, that last cool adventure before they take the step into Tier 2, right, because, once you step forward, you can't go back. It's like first edition one-way doors, right? You've gone through the one-way door, you can't go back. You can't go back the other direction. Though it is funny, I was supposed to run that last month, and it just fell off my radar, and I forgot until I saw it again, and I was like, "Oops." But that's what happens when you have so much cool stuff that something as cool as that falls off the radar and it takes you a week or two to notice it. Um, yeah, it's fun. I can't hear you though, Miss Skinny. I'm not sure if you.
Oh, sorry. You can't hear me.
I can't hear you.
The
But
Canadians got to
I'm
premiere
like,
it. It's fine.
she's saying something, but I can't hear you. So yeah, so we'll have that. We're working with more authors outside of the D&D Adventures League itself. We've had some 5th edition Dark Sun running from Robert. That's been really, really popular. We're speaking to a couple DMs who've talked about running some 5th edition Planescape, which I know would excite a lot of people. It would excite me, like I might actually play, which is very uncommon for Dave to actually do that. We'll have all of our normal exciting. We'll have, the Adventure League Season 10 running the entire content again. We'll be running, for those that have been really excited about the Moonshay content, we're actually going to be going back and running the Moon 1 treasure hunt, which is our brand new character introductions into the Moonshays. So for those of you who are like, oh, I've played all the Season 10, I still want to play more stuff. Cool. We're going to give you the chance to play historic content, right? You can make a brand new Moonshay character. And now you have 2 characters to play on the weekend so that you're always making sure that, you have the right characters to play all the cool stuff that we're doing. We're also going to be continuing with the Eberron, Oracle of War series, as well as the second tier 2 epic for Oracle of War we'll be running. So we have a lot of fun stuff in January, as well as all your Moonshay favorites. 2 weeks after that is Winter Fantasy, which for a lot of the DMs and, a lot of the DMs is kind of our home show, right? We hang out with our friends in the winter and we play tons and tons of games, and it kind of recharges our DM batteries, right? Mm-hmm. Our staff batteries, our HQ batteries. It's the show that, really energizes us to power through the rest of the year. And I'm really thankful that we got that show in 2020, right? It happened, before, the pandemic hit. And
final family reunion.
It was, the final family reunion. I was really hopeful, right, that we were going to be having that again, next year. But of course, for safety, it's not going to happen. So, of course, we've gone online. And so that'll be running the weekend of February 3rd to the 7th. It's actually a 5-day show. This year we'll be focusing a ton on the Moonshays with a ton of new content, including Moon 15, 16, the premiere of Moon 17. We'll be running a lot of Moonshay specials, which don't get released, right? They don't get released on the DMs Guild. So this will be some of your last chances to play some of the cool Moonshay specials that you've missed. And then there'll be a lot of tomfoolery and hijinks and everything else with our DMs. But it's a lot of fun. And the proceeds from that event, we're still nailing down which charity, right? We're going to have Jaspers involved as well. Jaspers Game Day will be doing our re-rolls and, some of the AL special certs that you can bid on. And then we'll have a charity for the proceeds of the event to go to that we're still working on. It may be Extra Life. It may be the NAACP, which is what we did for Gen Con, or the ACLU. So we'll figure out which one we're going to do, and we'll get that announcement up.
We did have one question. Miss Page wants to know, how do we sign up to run the weird stuff?
It's the normal sign up, right? So when you're on the normal sign up, which I know Paige has filled out before, there's a big box for notes in the bottom. So you can be like, hey, in Paige's case, right? You could say, I'd like to run Elmwood 2-1, right? I'll be like, awesome. When do you want to run it? And we plug it in and do that. If you're a DM who has a CCC that you've written, right? You're like, hey, I've had a few authors say, hey, Dave, could I run this CCC adventure that I wrote for Bob's Burger Barn Con last, March, right? And it's like, awesome, cool, let's do it. That's part of what, we're expanding, right? You could expand and run Adventures League stuff that you've written from previous seasons, or like you did with your Dreams of the Red Wizard, this past thing, and these adventures are awesome. But when you play them with the author, right, it's just like awesome squared, right?
I have yet to run it the same way twice.
Yeah, which is great because you're one with the adventure. You truly understand the adventure, and you just change it, right? And it could be something after you turned it in, you're like, oh, I don't like that. I wish I would have written that differently. Well, now you can just change it. Right? You can change it when you're running it. right? And we've been leaning on some of the admins as well, trying to get some of the AL admins to kind of pop in and run some of like their author only content, right? Which you would only, in the past, you had to go to one of these really big shows that just randomly happened to have an admin at it, to play to play some of these. Yeah, and I see you with the Burger Barn comments there. So it's Bob's Burger Barn. We have to be correctly, right? Um, so yeah, so we're looking to add all those, right? If you want to run D&D, we have a space, right? We're slowly expanding the Adventure League side because I don't want to expand it so fast that we end up with a whole bunch of tables with one or two people, right? And then every time it's time to sit down and roll some dice, we have to play games. I got to move these two people over here and this person over here and this person over there, right? So we want to expand on that side in a sustainable way, right? To keep the tables full, right? To keep the DMs getting paid for all the hard work that they're doing. On the flip side, DMs that just want to do their own thing, right? We can expand that part faster, right? Because that's their own thing, right?
As long as you publicize your table, you're responsible for it yourself.
Exactly. You're running these tables. You can advertise the tables. You can throw them up all over the place. Right? It's your risk, your reward, right? If you run really cool stuff and advertise it and run a full game, you're going to have full table after full table after full table, month to month to month to month, right? Which I see with some of our DMs now who advertise.
If you got to find
right?
two players 30 minutes before the game starts,
exactly.
then you got to find two players 30 minutes before the game starts.
which is great.
Yeah, I might have done that.
Exactly. Right. And so our February event will be February 19th to the 21st of February. So 2 weeks after Winter Fantasy, right? So it's going to be big gaming show, 2 weeks, huge gaming show, 2 weeks, hopefully slightly bigger gaming show. Right. So we're going to do our best not to burn the DMs out and keep them all happy, and having a lot of fun. And we'll have new content for February as well. Right now, we're fully expecting the next Tier 2 Season 10 will be out in February. Right. That's our goal is, every month we're rolling along. And we have these events slated throughout the end of 2021. So there will be a virtual event of some sort every month for the rest of the year, right? Some months those may be supplemented by, something that's special coming from Wizards, right? A D&D live or a D&D celebration or whatever those might be called in 2021, right? Those might replace one of the months, right? Because it doesn't make sense to have two of those events in the same month. But those will be throughout the year.
We can do D&D every weekend. I don't understand.
I know. Well, that's on top of the fact that, we still plan to do all the large shows that we're doing, right? There's still going to be Winter Fantasy and Origins and Gen Con and potentially PAXs and PAX Unplugged. And right, there's a lot of shows that we did last fall that we've never done before, right? That may be coming back around in the new year. We've already committed to any show, even if it ends up going back to being an in-person show, right? Which is the future that we all hope to see eventually. That we're always still going to have an online component to all of those, right? So even if Gen Con next year is in person and 70,000 people and everybody has their immunization cards, that right, multi-pass, right? So your vaccine multi-pass at the front door of Gen Con to get in. There's still going to be an online Gen Con, right? Which means you can still participate with all your new friends at Gen Con without actually having to go to Gen Con. So, so we have a lot of cool things. One small note, we're talking about, originally we were planning on wrapping up the Moonshade campaign at Winter Fantasy. We've decided in the world of COVID, where time and days of the week no longer matter, that we're going to push that back, probably late spring or summer, just because we have so much content that we were planning to get out prior
to Winter Fantasy. There is a lot going
that
on.
We still haven't gotten out, right? There was things that we were planning on doing at Origins and Gen Con last year, and then all of a sudden Origins didn't happen, right? And then Gen Con shifted, and right, the whole wheels kind of came off. So Moon 18, 19, and our huge conclusion 20 are now planned on being run over the summer months, whether that's Origins and Gen Con, or whether we decide, to do a huge weekend in the Moonshays in July or June, right? That'll be when we're looking to wrap the campaign up. And we'll be spending the spring and the first part of, 2021, getting everybody caught up on all the stuff that's just come out or things that are not even coming out till February, right? So we want everybody to be caught up on the show and ready for like a big, giant, fun conclusion in the summertime. And if we can do that conclusion in person, even better. So, well, it'll be a lot of fun. That and telling my writers that they have a few extra months to finish up made them all happy. So,
I can't imagine. Jumping back a second, Zombie Joe wants to know, will signups for Winter Fantasy be the same form for Virtual Weekend? I imagine you'll have a separate one.
it'll be a separate form. Yep, it'll be a separate form, but it'll be the same type of form, right? It'll be all the signups are very
Yeah, they're
similar.
all the same. You just change the heading
Right.
each time.
Exactly. We just customize it. Like we say, hey, here's the schedule, here's the times, right? It'll be you'll read 2 lines and go, all right, I'm ready, and you'll fill out your Winter Fantasy app and go from there. The difference being between a virtual D&D weekend starts on a Friday, Winter Fantasy, we're going to start on a Wednesday. But at least for like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're not planning on running morning slots. Right. It'll probably be more of an afternoon, evening, until we get to the weekend, and then it's just game until we fall over Sunday.
This pleases me. I am not a morning person.
Oh, I'm not a morning person. I'm actually off my day job for the next couple of weeks, and I don't plan on being up before noon on any of those days except Christmas when my children are pounding on my door. So I really can't blame them too much. And by children, I mean my wife and, and the kids. So
gotta get up and have Christmas breakfast so you can open Christmas presents. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so kind of wrap the conclusion with a little bit of recap there. So the very next virtual D&D weekend is January 15th through 17th, where we're going to have Season 10 content and an epic, more Eberron Oracle of War content. I think you're going to do another of the tracks, right, Dave?
Yep.
And then, of course, some Moonshays content, some more unorganized play content, which if you want to play, if you want to run that, just tick the little box for non-AL and then write notes. If you don't write notes, he doesn't know what you want to do. And
there are some criteria, right? I don't want a 4-hour adventure about your mom's cookies. I mean, I'm sure somebody could write a 4-hour adventure that would be awesome about
you
their
know
mother's.
what? Fine. I won't write that one then. I was gonna write it about my mom's cookies, but it involved Simon. So there's a precedence here. We already have an adventure, but okay. But yeah, so lots of good content, new stuff, old stuff, super old stuff even, which is new stuff to some people. So a lot to look forward to. So.
Yeah, there's lots of exciting stuff, and what I really love about these virtual D&D weekends is it's almost all new players, right? They're players that they've never gone to a Gen Con, they've never gone to an Origins. A lot of them have never played Adventures League, right? Mm-hmm. They're completely new. They're like little babies, right, flopping around on the ground, right? And we're picking them up and making them one of us.
They just want to roll some dice.
Want to roll some dice, right? And it's really fun. So it's always energizing, right? Running new players, especially running kids, right? Kids that have never played D&D before, and they just sit down with their brand shiny new dice, right? And they just want to play D&D. And you're like, I remember being that kid, right? I was that kid at one point. So.
Right then. All right. Well, I guess then that does take us to the portion for questions. So go ahead and take Paige's question. What comes after the Moonshays? You mentioned a campaign conclusion.
Or is that more Moonshays?
More Moonshays. Moonshays Part 2.
Right. I promised Eric Mengi, right, who is our awesome, story architect for the Moonshays. So when you're playing things and you're like, holy smokes, that's warped and insane, and I love it, right? That's probably Eric. And you can thank him or kick him as you feel proper, right? I promised Eric that there would be a conclusion and that I would let him off the hook, and I would return his soul coins, and he could be merrily on his way, a free man. But the Moonshay Isles are still ours, right? We're not going anywhere with the Moonshay Isles. And so, recently we've actually put together our Moonshay team for the future, right? There's a new Moonshay team that will be working on where do we go after the conclusion. And part of where we're going is part of the exciting stuff for 2021 that I can't talk about yet. Um,
But it'll be good.
but it'll be good, right? We're working on a lot of really cool, fun stuff. I'm very excited about what we're doing. Um, it's just waiting to be able to share those things with you, right? Everybody thinks that knowing all the cool WotC secrets is actually fun, and most of the time it just sucks,
It's
right?
very confusing trying to remember what you can share and what you can't share, so you just err on the side of, I don't know anything.
I just don't know. Or it's like, can I go find it on the Wizards webpage? Like, if I go to their webpage and I see it, then I'm like, oh, cool, I can talk about that. It's on the website, right? But for the most part, yeah, I just play dumb, which my wife says I do really, really well, and I'm just right? So when those announcements come out, right, we have a lot to share, and hopefully, as this, we get into the spring and summer, we'll be able to share a lot of what's going to happen.
And we'll be getting the Baldman Games social media ramped up a little bit, so you'll be seeing more updates. That way you can stay in the loop and not have all these little question marks floating around. So
There's
looking forward to
so
that.
many. We've gotten so busy, right? I mean, when the pandemic, started, it was like, holy smokes, I have a ton of time to catch up on TV shows that I haven't watched
That was
that all my friends are talking about, right? And then all of a sudden, everybody shifted to virtual shows, right? And there was a show in June, and then one in July, and then two in August, and then two in September, and it went from, hey, you know what, I'm going to do 3 or 4 shows a year
I had
to,
3 in
right,
May.
exactly. So next year I'm looking at like 16 to 20 shows, right? Which is like, holy crap, how the heck did that happen? And it's, normally I come out of Gen Con and I have this like 5 month gap till Winter Fantasy, right? It's like the Dave show vacation, right? I take off like August and September, and I just don't even do anything Baldman Games related. But instead I had 2 shows every month. It's exciting and it's fun, but like we brought you on to help with social media stuff, right? We need some help, or Dave's
And
gonna
you've
drop.
got Ted, thankfully, too.
Yeah, exactly. We have many suckers. Well, no, sorry, loyal citizens. I was on this Living Greyhawk chat just where they were chatting with old Living Greyhawk admins and circle members, and I was on there with Greg Marks and Stephen Radney McFarlane and some of the old RPGA types, and we came to the conclusion that the reason that we all did so much is that we were too dumb to run and hide when they asked for help, right? and there's many on here, right?
It all started for me when I volunteered to help Paige put people in lines, and now I don't know how to say no.
Exactly. I've gotten better at saying no, but I've already put so much stuff on my plate that it is it's got its own life at this point, right? And Greg's been around forever, Steven's been around forever, and it's a love-hate relationship, right? I love doing what I'm doing, but at the same time, right, I have to somehow every week carve out enough time to make sure I watch The Mandalorian with my son before somebody spoils it, right? And I actually have to.
I'm halfway through the episode right now. I swear to God, if anybody in chat spoils this for me right now.
No, do not spoil anything. Spoilers are bad. That's like the number one way to get kicked off Dave's social media, right? Is to be that spoiler person, right? It's just like, and you're like, right, you're gone. It's like, no, right? If you want to tell me who Luke's father is, that's fine. That's 40 years old, but I don't need to know about anything else.
All right. Well, Dave, unless you've got anything else, I think that'll do it for this segment. If anybody has any questions that you think of later, feel free to tweet, to send it over on the Facebook group. I'd say email, but probably don't email all of your questions to Dave. Don't do that.
But there's a contact form on our website, right?
Yeah.
Which zaps to us, right? There's contact forms on all the virtual D&D, weekend game sites, right? There's a contact. Most of you, if you're not, we have our Baldman Games Discord server where all the players hang out. That's a great place to ask questions. We got tons of people there that are always paying attention and more than happy to help. That's the one thing gamers, I think, all share in common is we're just really, really helpful, nice people, right? Just ask a question. You will probably have an overabundance of people willing to help you out.
think I have that server invite somewhere. I was gonna drop it, but I don't know how to keep track of Discord servers, so I'll find it and I will put that on my links so people want to join the player server. You'll have an easy place to get to it. I believe it's also over on the website, right, Dave?
I think it is on the website. If not,
I feel like I
can
saw
throw
it
a
on the
rock
website.
gently to my head. But we do a new Discord server for every event, right? And then as we close down those servers, right, we roll everybody into the Baldman Games server, right, player server, which is an everlasting, it's never going away. It just grows every month. So
Is
one of the best ways to keep up with what we're doing.
mm-hmm.
So you may be more informed than me at times. So.
Oh, maybe. There's a lot going on, but with that though, we'll go ahead and let everyone get back to their Sunday nights, catching up on The Expanse or finishing watching The Mandalorian or whatever it is you all do in your nerdy downtime.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
We'll see everyone next month.